Hey there, it's Chris, and welcome back to the Yoshitaka Moto-inspired mid project based off of Final Fantasy V, where last time we finally started building something. We've done our intro, we've started building, and we tried to start transplanting the world map we see here, a very square, a very flat Final Fantasy world map, onto a very not square and flat spherical globe, which on the drawing side of things went a little rough. But on the carving side, I'm kind of liking the effect this is giving. It's just enough of like that bas relief kind of look that it's subtle, but it's reading actually really, really well. So I'm actually really happy with this. One thing I'm not super happy about is I did make a mistake. This is supposed to be, if we follow our southern continent and kind of up into our northern continent area, right in here was supposed to be just like a little kind of river between where this continent ends and this one kind of starts. And I kind of carved it down like it was an ocean. So, other than that, I'm actually kind of liking where this whole thing went. If my voice is a little weird, I am wearing a mask this time, even though despite how it looked on the camera, none of the dust went up. All this dust you saw was like chest down. Shirt had nothing, like no dust on it up above. I was fine the entire day. But just in case, I do have that. And also, you don't need to keep looking at a pink finger the whole time. I decided to cover it up this time. I thought it was worth showing the first time, just because things happen when things do. Just don't let them blow out of proportion and whatnot. But no, you don't really need to stare at a pink finger. It's going to be like that for a while. The things underneath the fingernail, it's going to be pink and black and blue for a long time. But at least for now, for your guys' sake, I'll keep it covered up, even though it feels better when it doesn't have a band-aid on there. So that said, we got the two westernmost continents kind of in here, and we have the rest of the globe to do. So let's go ahead and start the rest of the globe and see how this goes. So it's going to be a lot like last time, only we're just gonna keep plugging away. All right, here we go. We have to start with a little island in the middle here, and then we're gonna come around and do the continent. So first thing is we get the edge kind of figured out. Once again, we're going to do it's going to be two coats of cutting down. Try to go down too deep with this in one. Then it starts skipping around, you start getting divots and all that. So it's a lot easier just doing a couple shallower run-throughs. It'll read better in the end. It has less chance of stuff going wrong, less this bouncing around with a chance to hit me. And overall, it just kind of works out better that way. So otherwise, this particular model, I haven't really known what to expect during it, quality-wise. Just because it is so different from the other one. But at least this initial starting point I'm feeling really good about. So at least from a starting perspective, my on camera, kind of, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Alright, we're going to make this a little wider than it was before. And as long as you don't tell anybody, that's going to be fine. Nobody has to know that this part's not right at all, because I messed up. But as long as nobody knows, as long as nobody says anything, we're going to be fine on that front. Yeah, vacuum definitely got to work out last time after the last session's going. And I got a feeling it's going to be the same thing here. I could be whittling this by hand, but I have far less experience doing that. I feel a lot more a lot more comfortable just using power tools. That's why I just kind of use the Dremel a lot. It's kind of my happy place when it comes to carving things, is using this. So I'm just going to go with it. Every now and then I'm kind of looking to make sure we're kind of on camera, because It's been a couple days since the last one. I've actually had a very long work week. Usually I do this on a Saturday, Sunday, but I had to work Saturday, so I haven't been on here for a couple days now. So I've had to reset everything back up again. We did get the bay window in. Feels good about that. Still have a couple little tweaks to do on it, but overall we got it in. That was a big window. That was a big, big window. Oh, it's so hard to see this line. I didn't draw the line super dark. I should have drawn this line a little darker. But we'll make it through. Yeah, so I'm now in the weird spot of, rather than have work Monday through Friday and have Saturday off, or Saturday, Sunday off, because we had a 6-day week last week, I'm now getting Sunday and Monday off. So I'm recording this on a Sunday right now, and hopefully I'll be able to get myself a little bit ahead between today and tomorrow. I'll start making up some of that lost time I didn't get last week because of the finger issue. Alright, getting a lot of this kind of Arctic area done, we are currently on the northern part of this world map. We're going along the Arctic Ocean kind of area up here. I said, at least despite everything else, I did get my workouts in though. Because I figured it would be really, really bad if I start doing the ultra marathon prep stuff that I'm also doing the videos for. If you haven't caught them, they're on Sunday afternoons. They go out at noon on Sundays. But I figured if I didn't get that in, it would look really bad if I missed the first week worth of workouts. So, got that going. They're a little rough right now. My body's not used to going fast. So they're not the... I'm definitely a little bit behind where I usually am time-wise and pace-wise compared to previous years. I think I'm equal back to about 2017 is now where I'm equal to in terms of my pacing. So I have fallen behind a little bit. But it's going to be okay. It's the first week. We'll get back. The body will be... Once the body gets used to it, we're all good. Otherwise, there's not much to talk about on the building side of things here, because you've already seen how I do this. This much isn't new. This is literally a copy of what we just did at the other session. Like I said, I figured considering I have shown you how I'm going about doing this, I could just skip this entire session and got straight to doing that off camera. Like I said, there is value in kind of slowly seeing these things come to life. So I do want to show as much as what seems reasonable on camera. I need to tilt this thing a little more. I keep going a little shallow. Every time I go shallow is when it starts kind of catching, it seems. Oh, I really wish I had drawn this stuff darker. It would make it so much easier to see. So much easier to see. said, I do have hopefully one final thing of material and whatnot coming in the mail early this coming week. And once that comes in, I should be good to go for the rest of this project. So that will be nice. Also, because I can't do the next step until I get that, because I have a bunch of kind of like little wooden spheres and whatnot I'm going to be using for the planets to kind of go around here. So just as with this, I didn't see the value in making a giant sphere. I don't really see the value in making a bunch of little spheres either. So I went ahead and I bought a bunch of little spheres. So they should be coming in the mail this week. And then after they do, then we can actually start up the next part of this. It's one of the things I should have bought a while ago and didn't. So once again, I can go whoops on my part, but it's all good. But I am very, very much leaning towards having, rather than the wooden orbit kind of pads going through, doing the metal kind of orbit pads and just painting them. I think structurally it's going to be a lot better. It's going to hold up a lot better. The wood is at that scale, the wood is just way too brittle and flimsy. It may look nicer in the end if nobody touches it, it just kind of stands there. But it would be very difficult to transport this model if I use wood, and it's just one of those things that's just begging for trouble. So, how are we doing? We are 12 minutes in. Yeah, as you can see, we're just going around the outer perimeter of this kind of supercontinent here. Then we'll come back after and do the inside of it. But alright, we're almost done with this outer portion. Or at least stage one of this outer portion. I do need to bring the other sanding pad in here to kind of finish it off. Oh, that one definitely caught. That's kind of a little funny detail going over here, but I drew this continent to look like that, and that's how it's going to be. Alright, I'm gonna break out the other sander. Rather than do the inside here next, I'm gonna break out the other sander to the outside because it's putting a lot of pressure on my wrist just holding it like this, and I hold it slightly different with the other sander. So just to physically give my wrist a rest here, we're gonna go and sand down that portion and then come back and do a little back and forth and then go and do the insides of all this. Otherwise, my wrist is not going to like me as the day goes on. let's see, how do we... It's starting to turn into something. It's not reading nearly as much as the other one yet. But then again, it's such a bigger space, we really do need these inside areas to make it read. But we're gonna get there. I'm sure on camera it doesn't look like my wrist is doing much different, but it is. There is an actual difference. I'm not putting as much pressure on here. It's just, it does feel nicer. Go a little higher. RPM keeps dropping quite a bit as I go, so let's up the RPM a little bit. Let's erase some of those burn marks there. We don't need to see those. Alright, well, nice little smooth transition into ocean. Not a big rough kind of transition. We want to kind of smoothly transition this stuff. Alright, there we go. Plus that bit got a little bit choppy from time to time, so it's kind of evening out some of the choppiness. Even out how it transitions into ocean. I'm watching dust collect on this whole thing and realize the vacuum's got to get one more gigantic workout, but just like the other continent, I will do 2 layers of this in the end, not just the one. But I might do a second off camera. I'll focus on the inside next after this. And then maybe off camera I'll do the second kind of layer of carving down. So that next time we get on here, I can focus on a different element and not do the same thing 3 times in a row. Alright, getting back into the northern area. Working our way up. We did the whole southern side. I can't speak with this mask on. It feels so weird. It's one of those dumb cloth masks too. It doesn't really do much. But if I wear the actual masks I usually use at work, you're not going to be able to hear a word I'm saying. So for what I'm doing right now, this will get the job done, and that's fine. Alright, we're almost done with this part. you can see, we're kind of back where we started now. Alright, so right now this continent doesn't look nearly as nice as the others just because it is so massive. We do need to get this inside. So let's go get this inside. Make it actually look like something. Like I said, right now we're at 20 minutes. This will probably take it about 40 minutes by the time all is said and done. And so by that point, I might just do then the second, in case you couldn't hear when I was doing this before, I'll then do a second carving like I did on this. I might do that off camera so that next time we come back, we can start adding some more kind of geographical features on here rather than watching the same thing over and over and over again. So we have two kind of main lakes or oceans, whatever you call them, inside here. So let's go and do those. Or rather, let's go real quick. I can show you what we are back on the map. So if you look at the easternmost area, we kind of did the outline of that whole thing. But now a lot of that is just kind of skinny land pathways and whatnot. So we're just going to, yes, we're going to add the ocean areas and lake areas into the middle of that to make this read. And I need to not forget, there's an archipelago of islands that go kind of along the south side here to do. Let me do those first, because I will forget they exist. I do not like this. I want you back in there a little bit. That way I don't have to reach out. If it's shorter, I can hold you here rather than have to push the whole thing out. It gives me a little more control this way, having a shorter shaft on this thing. Now, on the actual world map, this is a very long island. They're kind of chain of islands. But again, as we saw before with the Mercator projections and whatnot, it's very difficult to judge that when you get down to the poles of a continent. So we have just a couple of little individual islands representing what would be a very long chain in the game. Now I can't forget to put this particular island in here because this is where you get the airship in the game. So let's not forget this Crescent Island here. It's kind of an important one. This is actually where Mid really kind of does his magic. Mid and Sid get together and really do their magic for the team right in here. So some things we do need to have on. There might be a little variations on some of the other parts, but we can't forget this guy. Okay, so we have our southern islands right there. Now, let's get this big lake stuff kind of going. My hope is this is what's going to make this whole kind of supercontinent area pop. Kind of on time. Only back just a little bit. Okay. All the dust means I can't see anything. Yeah, unlike Earth, this is kind of a very, very complicated world map, it feels like. Prior to doing a straight up globe, I feel like this would be a little bit easier. But this is a very involved kind of look. But hopefully in the end, that's what's going to make it look special, because it has all these little kind of details to it. Visual interest is what it is. It's going to have visual interest. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, just about to connect the dots here on this lake phase. Ah, jeez. That sounds good. Alright, let's go sand that part down. We're going to see if that helps this read. Because right now, yeah, just having an edge done on... Doing an edge on the ocean makes the land feel higher. Just doing an edge on like a big lake area like this, yeah, it doesn't feel right. But we started with the islands. Let's continue with the islands first. And we'll get right to that. Alright, this one's reading pretty okay. Alright, so we have the little islands down there kind of reading. This is not reading well at all. So this for sure has to be carved. Alright, I think what's going to help with this is if I bring that out a little more, I can go to slightly shallower angle on this. Because right now, if this is as wide as the, if the ocean part, like say right here, is as wide as the continent, it doesn't look like it because there's so much space between where we come here and get back to it. It looks fine. But where you have something really skinny, I do really, really, really need to bring that whole thing down to size a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna have all the dust to clean up. But I'm sorry for all the dead truck or kind of dead air time here, not talking. But it's been a long couple days, and I feel like there's not much to talk about on this one. Especially because I am just literally doing the exact same thing I did in the previous sessions. And not enough time has passed in life stuff to really go over that. Okay, yeah, that goes kind of those lake areas really did have to be carved down in order to help. I don't have dust on here to see, but that does help a little bit. It definitely doesn't reading the same as the other side of the globe, only because yeah, this had 2 carved downs and right now this only has 1. But we still have 1 more lake to do, and let's go and do that part next. But yeah, let's get you in here. Yeah. All right, next big lake, and this is the last of the parts that really needs to go down. So good on that. Where do we start? I guess despite how my finger actually looks in real life, I do have some hope on that. One of the guys we had come and help us with that bay window yesterday, he's like, oh yeah, I just did the same thing about 2.5 months ago. And I looked at it, his finger looks 100% fine. He's like, but it's unlike yours, or unlike mine, he just smashed it, he broke the nail, he went right through everything. Mine was more of a bop. He smashed his. And I guess now he has permanent nerve damage, or what seems to be permanent nerve damage in the end of his thumb, or end of his finger, whatever finger it was. Where mine's gonna feel fine. It just looks really, really bad right now, but it's gonna be fine. So it's one of those things where, yeah, could be worse. When I use a hammer, I tend not to smash things with the hammer, so that helps. But again, when you're bopping a board in to try to click a decking board into the respective clip that it's going in, you don't need to smash the thing to do that. You're just kind of bopping it so it kind of just enough so it clicks. So I didn't wail on the hand in that regard, thankfully. So yeah, it could have been worse. But again, we just file those things under stuff. Every now and again, stuff happens. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, something happens. This is why when I was an advisor for the student group I mentioned before, the Alpha Tau Omega stuff, one of the things we try to stress is that, yes, we can try to mitigate risk. We can try to keep you out of like risky situations, mitigate that type of stuff, but we're not trying to eliminate all risk in everything we do. It's mitigating. It's trying to lessen the chance something will happen. But in the end, stuff can still happen. You just got to be prepared for that. And that's all it is, just one of those things, stuff happens. Alright, now we get this kind of, this little claw-shaped clover kind of area carved out here. I forget which castle is up in this. It's like Castle Waltz or something like that, I think, is up in this little kind of clover area. I could be 100% wrong. But there's, I believe one of the castles / towers and like meteorite areas is found on this weird shaped piece of land. We're getting there. Let's see. Almost there. One little random stretch of land right here. Whoop. 38 minutes. Okay, this will be like a 45-minute video. That's not bad. Okay. We got that. Ooh, that one's hot. That is hot. Ah! Stop rolling. Stop it. I can carve a little more off of you, too. Alright, let's... Okay, let's see. We just did that one, so we're on this guy. Oh, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in this guy. We're going to do what we can to get this sander into some of these spots. Alright, here we go. Got out of that tight little area. start getting into the main part of this lake, ocean, whatever part. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Okay, working out pretty good. For a first carve down, it's working out pretty okay. I was gonna say, I am actually pleasantly surprised with how this globe is coming out right now. I said, when I started this, I had no idea if this was gonna look good, bad, otherwise, but I believe overall this is working out pretty okay. I said, there's still a lot to go on this globe, but I think that's kind of where I started the thing, was down in there. Okay. So that's kind of the first carve down of those continents. And as I'm spinning, I'm looking at my recording thing here, and we're kind of looking okay. Of course, there's the guy that I did the other time that has the 2 carve downs, but for 1 carve down, this isn't too bad. It's reading like what I want it to read like, and I'm feeling pretty happy. So, like I said, off camera, I'm gonna do the the treatment I did on these. I'm gonna go carve down 1 more time, and then next time when we come back here, we can start maybe trying to figure out how to do some geographic features on some of these continents, whether we put down some either kind of mountain ranges, some deserts, or stuff like that to kind of just give maybe a little bit of visual interest, or a little more visual interest to this. I don't want to go too deep on those, because I don't want to take away from the purity that we have right now. But I do want to add a little bit of something, just because I want to add a little bit of something. If I can, I'd like to add more stuff. So it should be good. And yeah, we will get to that when we get to that. I'm going to put you on, a more visually interesting area right there. And until then, and until next time, enjoy.